Minnesota credit, they were extremely physical tonight with us, and they were the root of our 19 turnovers. It's going to be hard to win on the road if you have 19 turnovers for 22 points off those turnovers, and part of it. Those turnovers led to easy baskets in transition. So we gave up, the way we calculated, we gave up 35 fast break points. And again, the root of it was off of our turnovers. So trying to do a better job in those two areas is a must for us on the road, especially when we're down when we're down bodies. But give Minnesota credit because they brought a lot of physicality to the game and created a lot of those turnovers.
Coach, how impressed were you with the fight of this team? Looked like a lot of moments Minnesota might run away with it, but you kept it close, even shorthanded.
Yeah, we did, but we feel like it doesn't matter who's in uniform. We feel like we're better than that, so this stings, because again, if you can have 12 turnovers for 13 points or whatever it is off those turnovers, you give yourself a chance. But to have that many and not play with the next play speed, I'm a huge next play speed guy, and on some of the turnovers and things that we had, we didn't react well. And that part was disappointing to see. We did fight in spurts, but I'm greedy just like everybody in that locker room is. We're all competitive, and we know we could have done a better job, and we didn't. You give Minnesota credit, and we learn from this, and we move forward.
Is any of what you saw there due to, you were playing some combinations that I don't think we've seen at all this year? Like at one point, I think you had Diawara, Huck Porty, Kolek with Mitch and Josh, like combos that we'd never seen. So you think some of that is maybe leads to some of the mistakes?
It could, but our young guys, they got to be ready. That's what this league's about. If you're missing bodies, next man's got to he's got to step up. And again, I thought just their physicality, blowing up our DHOs, fighting through the passing lanes, and us not doing any counters. Like if somebody gets in my body and I'm about to come off a DHO, well, just pick it up, and now I make a cut to the basket and you play with the next guy. But we continually tried to give it to that guy, and they blew up the DHO, or they got into us on a dribble and took it from us. However it may be, we know how to counter those things. We worked on those things this morning at shoot around because that's how they play us, and we just have to be better overall.
What did you think of Cat's physicality off the bat, especially around the rim, drives, that kind of stuff?
Oh, Cat obviously, he can score. He had 40 tonight. I said it before. He's a walking double-double. He just has to continue to try, to not pick up cheap fouls. He had a couple of cheap fouls where he led with his hands, or he hooked the guy. And now we have to sit him for X amount of minutes when he needs to be on the floor. So, the 40 and 13, it doesn't surprise me at all because he's more than capable. But if you're going to be a great player, and I'm sure he does too, we expect more from him so he can be out on that floor.
Tyler, I think career high minutes, career high points, career high rebounds. Just what did you see from him today?
Tyler was good. He was good in spurts. I thought he tried. He struggled initially. He was, I think, 3 for 10 at halftime, and he ended up being 6 for 12 in the second half. And we needed to get scoring from others, so he stepped up in that area. To get 11 rebounds at his size was fantastic too in 31 minutes. So for a young guy, he tried to do what he could while he was out there, but we need more from him. Probably more so defensively than offensively at the end of the day if we expect to get a win on the road.
And then just with Julius, you guys did a good job containing him, most for 3 quarters at least. Then I think he scored 13 straight points. Just what did you see during that stretch specifically, in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, he was just aggressive. He was just taking it right to us. We started blitzing Edwards, and so they basically just gave him the ball. He put his head down, and he attacked our chest. And again, you got to give him credit because he used his footwork, he used his power, he used his strength, he used his quickness to get by us, to finish at the rim, and to get to the free throw line. So he's a really good player, and you got to be really solid with him, showing your chest, not giving him any angles. And I thought we gave him too many angles. And then one of the things that we talked about was when he gets into his bag. He loves to shoot that fadeaway jump shot, and very few times did we get to a position where we can rear view contest to make it hard on him. So, again, like I said, you got to give Minnesota and their team credit, starting with Coach Finch, because they handed it to me and everybody else.
A couple more. What leads you to bust out that zone in the second quarter?
We wanted to mix it up. We weren't getting many stops. Ant was, playing at a high level, and we wanted to try to just give him a different look.
Just I know you talked about the physicality. Your guys have sometimes shown some frustration. There was the thing with Josh today with Rudy. How do you think they're handling that? I guess mentally getting the foul calls and not getting the calls they want.
I talked to all of our vets. The officials, they're not going to help you win the game. They're human. They're going to make mistakes out there, and we as a team, start with me. We got to try to leave the referees alone because we're good enough to still go win games. I thought on that particular play, and I'll go back and watch it, but I thought on that particular play, Josh got pushed. Rudy hit the ball, but then he came down and pushed him. That's why he was off balance. And when things like that happen, guys can get heated. The guys are competitive, and then usually something else results from that. I've experienced it in the Palace and the Malice, back in the day in Detroit. It started with a little foul that wasn't called, and it escalated, But like I said, the officials are human. They're going to miss stuff, and we have to do a better job, starting with all of our vets, to make sure that we're a no-excuse team. And I believe if we really embrace that, starting with our vets, we're going to be fine because we're good enough to win a lot of ball games.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.